So ultimately, Alex, the issue is this: is if we're going to determine that anything is the case, such as the Bible is the Word of God, we're going to have to appeal to some final authority. And in the Christian worldview, it is God Himself who is the final authority that determines that the Bible is the Word of God. We therefore either accept it or don't accept that. Now, since you don't accept that, you're going to have to appeal because you would conclude that that's circular, right, Alex?
Um, yes.
Okay, good. So then you would have to appeal to some other final authority from your worldview to determine anything is the case. And in this particular case, it would be the nature of the Bible. Now, it could be anything. It doesn't matter what that subject is. It could be the inspiration of the Bible. It could be anything else. So what would be your final authority and how would that appeal to that final authority? Not be circular, Alex.
Well, it seems that any appeal to a final authority, as you've said, would be circular. So it raises the question: why would you appeal to it in the first place?
Because all final
Secondly,
authorities are
hang on a second.
circular.
Well, yeah. Once so raises the question: why would you try to appeal to it? The problem that then brings up is that how do you distinguish one circle from the next? Why is the next circle not as good as that a final
Well,
authority in the same sense?
because some types of circular reasoning are recognized as fallacious, but if we conclude that all circular reasoning is fallacious, that would be a self-refuting statement.
Well, that seems what? I
If
no
if
that
if
that's
we
that's that
well,
I why
let me just
what how does that
flesh
follow?
it out for you. Let me flesh it out for you, okay? And just feel to jump in because I don't have a problem when you interject because you're not obnoxious, right? Um, it, if we say that some forms of circular reasoning um, is vicious, I think that that's universally agreed upon, right? Would you agree with that, Alex?
No, I would say that all circles are fallacious.
No, no, no. I know that, but that's I'm getting to that, right? But you and I would be in agreement, and in fact, everyone in the room here, I'm sure, would agree that some forms of circular reasoning is fallacious, right?
Uh,
I don't think
I,
there's anybody who
I,
would say that all forms of circular reasoning is not fallacious, right?
well,
So we
well, no, hang on, no. You know what? I am gonna because I'm not. I don't profess to be, a philosophical buff or anything.
I'm not either.
So right, then the question is, how do you recognize a non-fallacious circle?
Um, because the a non-fallacious one would be one that would be your ultimate authority.
But you've just all circles are ultimate authorities in themselves. So how do you recognize a
No,
non-fallacious circle?
the point I'm trying to start out with is that we agree that some forms of circular reasoning are necessarily fallacious, right? Because they would not be a final authority, right?
Wouldn't there
But
also be a question of the supporting evidence?
well, I'll just move on because I think
I'm saying, Darwin's. What I'm saying is that it seems to me, without any other criteria, that all circles are final authorities within themselves, and we still have no way of distinguishing fallacious ones from
okay, good.
non-fallacious ones.
Okay, good. Therefore, what you just said is invalid. It's self-refuting.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Yeah, sure.
If sorry, that's my dog barking. If we do grant that all circular reasoning is in fact fallacious and one ought not believe in a fallacious argument, then we have to accept the fact that no one has justification to believe in the external world around us. Given that if we
Or anything,
right,
Jake.
right. So if we
We're
were to
not just
try
that.
Jacob,
Anything.
if
Jacob,
hold on,
I
Alex, let me finish this point real quick because I think it's important.
okay.
So for instance, if I'll say it again, if we were to grant the premise that ultimately all circular arguments are indeed fallacious and one ought not believe in fallacious arguments, then no one has justification to
You're
believe
breaking up.
in what we perceive around us to be the external world. If I were to propose to you, uh, Go ahead. Sorry, my dog's barking.
No, the point I was trying to make with Alex is this: is if Alex says that all circular reasoning is fallacious, then what he doesn't realize is that is a self-refuting statement, because how would he, by what authority would he determine that that's the case? And he could only do so by appealing to a final authority that is the case, and that in fact would be circular.
Why can't I appeal to axiomatic principles? And
because that would be circular.
Yeah, axioms by definition are themselves circular.
That's exactly right.
What? No, that doesn't follow.
Yes, it does follow.
An axiom is a starting point that you assume. Okay, and by
right. How is that circular? How is that circular?
It's circular by nature.
How so?
It's circular when you go to provide try to attempt to provide any sort of argument with regard to that axiom.
Hang on, but that's a completely different claim.
No, it's your starting point is, instead of using the word axiom, let's say your starting point is X. Okay,
right.
That's your starting point. Now, in my case, in Jacob and David's case, our starting point, is the God of the Bible. Right? Now, that's not your starting point. Now, from your point of view, our starting point is circular, right? Right, Alex?
It's only circular. It is only circular when you use it to conclude that the God of the Bible exists.
Is it circular when you go to conclude that the external world around you is real?
I don't conclude that.
Okay. So you don't believe that the external world around you, in fact, is real?
Of course I do. Okay,
so if you do, then you conclude that, in fact, the world around you is real, which means that you're in circular reason.
What is your starting point? What is your starting, Alex? Okay, Jacob, let me just say something. I like your point, but it's much broader than just merely believing that the external world exists. The point is Alex, since you reject the God of the Bible as the starting point, as the final authority, because he says he's the final authority in Revelation, and you do not accept that, then you have to have some other starting point, which is your foundation and final authority. Okay? Now, by what means can you determine that starting point in your worldview determines what the nature of reality is without being circular?
Hopefully I can give you... You know what? We've gone back and forth in this, and I've got to jump off, and then I'll pass it on to Evolution, because I think they wanted to say something. And I'll leave it with this analogy, and hopefully this will help you alleviate these issues. Can a race be run if the track is a straight line?
Can a race be run if the track is a straight line?
Right, because you're arguing that the only way for a race to be run is that it is a circular track.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying.
So why can't you have a starting point?
What I'm stating.
Hang on a second, because I'm going to say this, and you can say whatever you want afterwards. What I'm saying is, you have a starting point, and you move forward from there. In what way? What is the argument that shows that axioms are circular? I grant you that it is circularity to say that I presuppose something to then conclude something, but I don't conclude these things, Jacob. I assume them, and I go from there, and it's a straight line from there.
That's circular, Alex.
What's the argument for that? You make the argument for that, and I will be listening in.
When you start from an axiom that you don't, when you say, okay, this is my starting point, and you don't appeal to any other external justification for that starting point, then you assuming that starting point is by virtue circular.